The email came at 2:14 a.m. Subject line, "We need to be practical." I was awake anyway, propped up by pillows, one hand resting on my stomach, counting the slow kicks that had become my nighttime comfort. I thought it was another work update from him. He'd been busy for weeks. I opened it. 3 paragraphs. No greeting, no apology. "Hey, if you enjoy my content, please subscribe and hit the bell. Your support means everything and helps me keep creating. Thank you so much." He wrote that he had filed the papers, that this was the most rational decision for both of us and that we should handle things like adults. Then a final line that made my vision blur. "I've transferred the funds from our joint account to cover legal expenses and upcoming responsibilities." I checked the bank app with shaking hands. Balance almost zero, rent, hospital deposit, baby supplies, everything we'd saved for this child gone in one transfer. I called him straight to voicemail. I called again, blocked. That was how my husband ended our marriage by email. While I was 7 months pregnant, I didn't cry right away. I sat there in the quiet apartment, the hum of the fridge too loud, my mind trying to catch up with what had just happened. I reread the email 5 times, like maybe the words would rearrange themselves into something kinder. They didn't. By morning, reality had settled like weight on my chest. I couldn't afford the rent for next month. I couldn't afford the hospital I'd booked. I couldn't even afford groceries without counting every coin. I called my mother. She listened in silence, then sighed. "Maybe you shouldn't have argued with him so much. Men don't like pressure." I hung up before she could finish. I called my sister. She said, "At least you'll get sympathy now. People love single moms." I stopped calling people after that. I packed a single suitcase that afternoon. Maternity clothes, documents, ultrasound reports, a folder with every bank statement I had ever downloaded, but never thought I'd need. I didn't know where I was going, only that I couldn't stay in that apartment with the echo of his absence in every room. I took a taxi to the only place that didn't feel like judgment, my old college friend S.A.'s house. She opened the door, saw my face, and didn't ask questions. She just pulled me in and said, "You're staying here." That was the first kindness I'd felt in days. That night, lying on her couch, I finally cried. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet tears that soaked into the cushion while my baby shifted inside me, like reminding me I wasn't alone. I whispered to my stomach, "It's just us now." And for the first time since reading that email, I felt something other than fear. I felt anger, not the loud, screaming kind, the cold, steady kind that sits in your chest and says, "You will not break me." The next morning, I went through every document in that folder. Bank transfers, transaction logs, dates, screenshots of our joint account, his email, everything. Because if he thought he could erase me with one message and one transfer, he had no idea what I had started preparing. I didn't go to a lawyer first. I went to a laptop. S.A. left for work. I sat at her table with cold tea and every document I could find. Bank emails, statements, old messages. I wasn't crying anymore. I was looking. The big transfer from our joint account happened 2 nights before his email. But smaller ones, they had been happening for months. Random amounts labeled as business expense and investment. I had believed him every time he mentioned new plans. Then I opened our shared cloud folder. He forgot I still had access. Spreadsheets, receipts, scans, and one file that changed everything. A separate bank account under his name, the source of funds, our joint account, repeatedly, quietly, for almost a year. He hadn't just emptied the account. He had been draining it slowly long before the divorce email. My fear turned into something else. Focus. By afternoon, I had dates. Amounts, screenshots, a timeline so clear it looked deliberate, and because we were married, because the money was shared. This wasn't his money. This was going to matter. I called a lawyer, not a flashy one. A calm older woman named Farah. She told me to bring everything. She read my papers without interrupting. Asked short, sharp questions. Then she read the divorce email. He thinks this was smart, she said. That sentence stayed with me. Farah explained what he hadn't considered. Moving shared funds into private accounts without disclosure during marriage, then filing for divorce and emptying what remained. This isn't just divorce, she said. This is financial misconduct. For the first time since the email, I didn't feel abandoned. I felt prepared. She filed notices to request bank records, sent legal letters to freeze certain assets, began responding to the divorce filing in a way he would not expect. This takes time, she warned, but he won't walk away clean. That night, my phone buzzed. A message from him. Let's not make this ugly. He thought I was still confused, still alone, still trying to figure out where to sleep. I replied, I agree. Let's do this properly. He sent a thumbs up. Days later, the legal notices reached him. He called 14 times in one day. I didn't answer. Then came voice notes. Anger, accusations. You're overreacting. You misunderstood. We can fix this privately. Then panic because his bank had contacted him because the account he thought was safe was now being reviewed because he realized this wasn't a simple exit anymore. Farah updated me calmly. He wants an urgent meeting. We declined. He's asking for settlement. We're not responding yet. Each update felt like my dignity returning piece by piece. One evening as I folded tiny baby clothes SA bought me, he called again. This time I answered. His voice was careful, soft in a way I had never heard before. Why are you doing this? He asked. I looked at the small socks in my hand. You did this. I said. He tried to explain. Said he panicked. Said he needed control. Said he thought I would take everything if he didn't act first. I let him talk. Then I said the only thing that mattered. You left me pregnant with nothing. I'm making sure my child doesn't start life with nothing, too. Silence. For the first time since that 2:14 a.m. email, he had no reply. And I understood something clearly. He wasn't afraid of losing me. He was afraid of losing what he thought he had secured for himself. He tried to settle quietly. Too late for that. By the time he asked for a friendly agreement, the court already had the bank trail, every transfer, every hidden account, every month. He thought no one was watching. Farah never rushed. She let the documents speak. During one hearing, his lawyer argued it was poor financial planning, not misconduct. The judge asked a single question. Why was shared money moved repeatedly into a private account before filing for divorce? There was no clean answer. What hurt him most wasn't the case. It was the timeline. It showed intent. I didn't have to say much. I just sat there pregnant, calm, with proof in a file. He avoided looking at me. Months later, the decision came. Full financial disclosure. Asset division in my favor, mandatory support, legal costs assigned to him. But the real moment wasn't the verdict. It was when I walked out of the court building and felt light for the first time since that email. Not because I won, because I wasn't afraid anymore. He thought leaving by email would make him untouchable. Instead, it documented the exact moment everything started turning against.